Hey guys, how is it going? So this video is going to be based on how to use fetch file and put file in Apache NiFi. So I assumed you've got NiFi installed on your system, or you've got your company has set it up if you're using your company NiFi. So I've got the NiFi UI opened here, and what I'm going to do first is create a process group. So in process group, you can have your entire pipeline in one group. So I'm going to create a new process group for the pipeline I want to create. So I'm going to name this fetch and put file. So I've got this JSON file here in the input directory. It's called 64KB .json. And what I want to do is get the file from here, put it here, right? So NiFi actually allow you to do ETL process. So it can extract data from upstream. Say, for example, your company is getting a data from upstream into a specific server, and what you want to do is get the data from that server, do a bit of transformation on the data, and ingest the data to a different location. It could be HDFS or any sort of location, or a different directory in a different server. But in the case of this tutorial, I want to get the file from my local system in a specific directory to a different directory. So now what I need to do is go into this process group, right, and start creating my entire pipeline. So I need to double click this. Now I have a new page, and this is called processor. So processor, there are different kind of processor you can find. So in the case of fetch file, you just type fetch file. You see it's here. So just click it and add it. Now we have fetch file um, processor. But before I do that, I need to have an upstream flow before I can uh, configure the processor. Now, since I don't have like kind of um, I'm not going to list the file in this input directory, right? In the input directory here, so I won't be able to use a list FTP or list file processor. So if I'm going to do that, I will have used list file processor as the upstream flow or processor. But to define an upstream that can work for my pipeline, I'm going to use the generate flow file processor. And so if I just drag this one here and type generate flow file. So what this processor does is defined here. So this will allow you to generate a custom flow file, right? And you can make use of that custom profile the way you want. So this will be my upstream. So what I'm going to do here is double click to go inside. So setting, let me go to setting first. Okay, that is fine. Let me go to schedule here. So what I want to do in the schedule here is I want it to run uh, one day, because if I put it 0 second or 1 second. So the flow file is going to be generated every second, and that is going to create an overflow or out of memory issue for my system as long as I allow the processor to continue running. So I'm just going to put 1 day as the schedule. And now what I need to do here, um, if you want to have like some custom text that you are going to be using in the um um, downstream, right, you can provide the custom text here, right, custom content that you're going to use downstream. But in this case, I don't want to provide any custom text. What I want to do is um, create an attribute of today's date, an attribute of the input directory, and the attributes of the output directory. So I will start with today's date. So the property name is going to be today date. And now to generate the date, I need to use a built-in NiFi solve function, which is called now. So that will generate the date, and I need to format the date as um, it's going to be year, then month, then day. So that should generate me the today's date in that format. And the second property is going to be the input part. So if I go here and get the inputs directory, right? Um, so I'm going to put it here. I'm going to start with the user. Let me use this. So the tasks probably depend on where you installed your NiFi. I installed the NiFi in the C drive. So I'm just like trying to provide this location inside the C drive where I put the input file. Right. So that should be the input directory. And the second, let me copy this one. And the second property is going to be the output part. So the output part is going to be this output. Right, so I've got these three properties which I'm going to be using in the subsequent flow. So I'm going to click apply, and so that will be my upstream. Now, what I do is just so the relationship I want for the downstream is going to be successful relationship. That means if the um, upstream flow is success, then it will uh, basically transfer the flow to the downstream here. So now I need to configure the downstream, which is the first file. So the first file needs to basically fetch the file from the input part, input part. Now it's got file name. I'm not going to use the file name. The reason is, let me show you. Okay, say I have a funnel here, right? And I use a success relationship for that. And let me just get rid of this for now, right? So let me trigger this to run start. You can see this is the one active thread that is currently running. So if I refresh this, you can see it's completed one task in 0.001 second, 1 millisecond, I guess. So this is currently in queue, right? So if I right click this and go to list queue, what you will see is this is the file name. You can see it's just a generator ID, which is the UUID here, and it's being used as file name. So if I click this, you'll see the attributes. These are the attributes, right? This is the file name. This is the input property that I created earlier, and this is the output, and this is today date. You can see it's been generated. Now, based on this information, right, I can go to the fetch file and configure it properly. So I've put the input part here, and the file name, instead of using the file name variable, I can just provide the name of the file in that input directory. As you can see, it's 64 KB, 64 KB.json. So 64 KB.json and completion strategy. The reason for this is because once that file has been fetched from this input directory, what completion strategy, the purpose of it is to let you determine what happens to the original file. Do you want to move this file to the archive directory, or you want to delete this file? In my case, I don't want to apply or specify any completion strategy. I want the original file to stay where it is. And the second property is move destination directory. So if you specify that you want to move this file, then you have to specify the location where you want to move the file to. And the third or fourth property is move conflict strategy. This means that if you specify that you want to move the file, when you move the file to the location you specified here, what happens if the same file already exists there? Do you want to rename it, or you want to replace it, or you want to keep existing file, or you want to fail it? I mean, since I haven't specified the completion strategy here, so I'll just leave all these properties as they are, and you can see this one, what they do. If you click on the question mark here, it will explain what each of these properties do. So I think I've completed this configuration, so I'll just click apply. So what the reason I'm still getting warning here is because I haven't specified the downstream. So and even though if I specify the downstream to be success, what happens to this relationship, right? So what I want to do with this one is mark it, basically check the box. So, and but if I check the box, what I'm basically saying is I want to automatically terminate the relationship if it's not defined, right? Because I'm not going to define it, but if you define it, you leave the checkbox open, you don't check it. But since I haven't, I'm not going to define it. I'm just going to check for automatic termination of the relationship. For the success, I'm going to define it, so I'm going to leave it as it is. So what I want to do next is I'm going to define another funnel here, or let me use this one. So what I'll do is get rid of this, um, empty the funnel first, and delete it. Okay, to delete it, I'm going to stop this first. Delete the funnel and just put the funnel here. And I just want to show you what you're going to get. I'm going to define success as 8 relationship. So now I will trigger the profile again and trigger the fetch file again. You can see the fetch file is not showing the warning. This is because I've defined the success relationship here. So I'll start it. So what happened? Let's see. Now I'm getting error. Okay. Um, the error says not fetch file from that location. Okay, the reason is the file name is wrong. So I'm going to stop this and just go into that property. You can see it should be 64 KB. So I'm going to edit that and you just stop everything. Go there, edit this. So 64 KB, okay. I'll try again. So start this, refresh. We've got the flow file here. Start this again. Okay, now we've got the file because the error has been resolved. Now, if I right click here and list the queue, you will see that the file size is actually 63.64 KB. Now we've got the properties of the flow file. So this is the input part I specified earlier and the output part and the date. And if I go to details, you can see we can actually view the file that it's fetched from this location, right? This is the file. So if I click view, it should open in another tab. This is the JSON file. So this is the full file that I'm interested in. So currently the file name is this. If I'm going to save the file in the output directory, right? The output directory is currently empty. So I'm going to find a way to rename this file, right? Instead of using the UUID, I'm going to rename it. So what I'm going to do is go back here and get a new processor here. This is going to be called update attributes. Update attributes. So this is the processor. I'm going to add it here. Then double click, go to okay, we are currently in properties. So I'm going to add a new page or a new property called file name. So the file name is not going to be the name of the existing file. I'm going to specify a new name, and that is going to be 64KB underscore the date I specified earlier, the date property is what I'm going to use. That is going to be today dates. And outside of that variable, I'm going to use .json because it's going to be a JSON file. So click OK. So I've updated the file name, right? Click apply. So now the relationship here is going to be success. Okay. So I'm going to zoom this back in just to create more space, right? So I'm going to stop everything and just delete this. Or no, I'm not going to delete it. Okay. So I'll show you something. I'm not going to delete it. What I'm going to do is um, I've defined the update attribute. So I'm going to put this basically try to get the profile from here to this place, right? This is like part of testing if you're doing testing on the flow file, right? So, and the reason I'm getting this warning is because I haven't defined the relationship yet. So I'm going to just create a new funnel here, right? And define a success relationship, and that should go. Now, if I run this, okay, now you see the profile has been removed from this queue to this queue. Now this one has one queue. So if I start this processor, this flow file should come here and the attribute should get updated. So let me start it. Now this should be in this queue. Now I can right click this queue and list the queue. So the file name should now be what I specified in the update attribute processor, right? So now I can go ahead with the rest of the um, downstream processor. So I think I've got one downstream processor left, which is the put file. So this processor is going to put the file in the um, output directory, which I specified earlier, created as well. So now what I'm going to do is get rid of all of this, or just stop everything and just make things cleaner, right? Okay, so the next thing I'll do is create a success relationship. So, and I can double click this and configure the directory. So the output directory is going to be a variable I specified earlier. So out, outputs path / no. So that's just going to be the output directory. And the conflict resolution here is based on whether the same file name already exists in that directory. If that is the case, it could be, you can fill it, or you can change it to replace, it depends on what you're trying to do. If the directory is not there, do you want to create the directory or you want to fill it? I've already created the directory. I just want to, I'm going to set it to false. And if the directory doesn't exist, it will fail. And I'm going to leave everything as it is. So click apply. And now you can see I'm getting one in here, and that is because I haven't defined the success and failure relationship. Since there is nothing else I want to do, right? I just want to put the file in the output directory. What I'm going to do is automatically terminate the success and failure relationship, right? So now everything is set up. What I would do is just start the whole process or the whole pipeline. So refresh. Okay, it's got here. You can see the task is one here and completed in 3 milliseconds. I believe that's what it is. So I'll go to the output directory and look and behold, the file is here. So I can just open this file and check it here. You can see it's here. So that is how you can use put file and fetch file, as well as the update attribute processors in Apache NiFile. Hope this video has been useful for you, and I hope you like it. Don't forget to leave a comment and like. See you next time. Bye.